Good afternoon. I'm Richard Flaherty, President of the International Corrugated Packaging Foundation. Welcome to the International Corrugated Packaging Foundation's 14th annual Careers in Corrugated Teleconference. We are live today from Michigan State Studios, and I wish to thank the 450 students and faculty that have joined us today. Our moderators are Jennifer Walker, Ann Recke, and Brett Kirkpatrick. Ann and Jennifer, you have the stage.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Richard. Thank you all for coming in today. Here it's really, really cold, but it's great to be here. I'm from Pennsylvania, so it's not much better. I'm Jennifer Walker. I'm from Bowling Green State University, graduated there with an undergraduate degree in visual communication in 2009. And I also obtained a master's degree in 2011 with Bowling Green State University. While obtaining my degree there, I taught undergraduate courses, and mostly in the print media field, but also with the new corrugated track that the ICPF donated to the school. I was hired right after graduation of my master's, probably a month and a half after. I posted my resume on the ICPF career portal, and Mid-Atlantic Packaging in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania found me and hired me within a month and a half. And I've been working there since as a graphic designer and a pre-press engineer. I started to fall in love with pre-press my undergraduate career, but then grew further of a passion with it in my master's and now in the workforce, in the industry. So it's been a lot of fun. I am so happy that I accepted this job and couldn't be more satisfied working with the corrugated packaging industry, and it's very rewarding and offers great career growth for the future. So you guys are in a good field. The International Corrugated Packaging Foundation, ICPF, is an educational foundation that is funded by individual corrugated corporations and co-sponsored by the Association of Independent Corrugated Converters and the Fiberbox Association. You may best know ICPF for its donations and corrugated packaging and display, CAD tables, lab equipment, and curricula. It has provided many of your campuses, including my alma mater, Bowling Green State. I wish to remind faculty today that ICPF's online curricula is available on ICPF's website, www.careersincorrugated.org, and it's been updated recently with an expanded module on sustainability practices.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. The new individual faculty codes for the answers to the questions are at the end of the many chapters in the curricula. My firm is one of over 60 corporations with hundreds of facilities across North America that support this annual teleconference. The mission and other activities of ICPF, your host today. Today we will make career opportunities in the corrugated packaging and display industry more accessible to you through presentations that will make you more knowledgeable of the industry. You will also hear about today the business of corrugated packaging and display. Our industry panelists will address such topics as the two general types of business structures that make up the core industry, the markets that drive the business, and the critical personnel and careers that are found in the industry. With almost 1,300 locations in the U.S. alone, virtually each of you, no matter in what state you reside, live within easy commuting distance of a potential corrugated packaging and display employer. Today we hope to further introduce you who are in packaging, graphic design, sales and marketing, supply management, and any other related fields to your respective career opportunities found in the corrugated packaging industry. Ann?
Thank you, Jennifer. Hello, everyone, and fellow Spartans. It's always special to be back on campus. My name is Ann Recke, and I graduated in May 2011 from Michigan State University with a bachelor's degree in communications and a specialization in public relations. Through ICPF's career portal and social network, I was alerted to career opportunities in the corrugated packaging industry, and like Jennifer last year and many this year, I was assisted by ICPF's network in acquiring initial interviews with top executives in the industry. Through ICPF, I was recruited by family-owned company Landell Packaging Systems in Central Michigan, and after an extensive training program, I now serve as a corporate sales representative. ICPF's principal purpose for the production of this annual teleconference is to provide you more insight to the corrugated packaging and display industry and to encourage you to consider a career here. This is a $26 billion a year industry, and it creates the most sustainable and environmentally sensitive packaging on the planet. Most importantly, upon entering the industry, after graduation, you will play a major role in developing even more sustainable packaging for a greener planet tomorrow. Now for the university introductions. Today we welcome Appalachian State University. Hello, Professor John Kraft and your students. John, I understand you and your students are making good use of the ICPF CAD table and software. Welcome, Appalachian State University.
Thank you.
Bowling Green State University, I miss you. My alma mater. This is the beginning of the third year of the corrugating packaging track in Bowling Green State's visual communication program. Last year, Bowling Green integrated structural design and corrugated curricula utilizing ICPF CAD table and RDO software. Welcome Professor Fugit and Dr. Troutman and the Falcons.
Hello, go Falcons! Go Falcons!
Yeah.
Cal Poly State University. Cal Poly is a perennial teleconference participant and recipient of many lab and other equipment pieces through ICPF. Both the packaging and graphic communication departments are joining us again this year. Welcome Dr. Singh, Dr. Saha, and the Mustangs.
Thank you. We are still waiting on our students. We are on Pacific time right now.
Well, welcome to you nonetheless. Clemson University, home to the Bob's Corrugated Press and other equipment donated through ICPF. Welcome again to Professors Liam O'Hara, Bob Moore, Andrew Hurley, and their students from both the graphic communication and packaging departments. The two Clemson programs have been participating together in ICPF's teleconference for the past 7 years. Over the past 3 years, many of the graduates from these programs have been hired through the ICPF network by ICPF partner firms. Welcome, Clemson University. Dunwoody College of Technology, another graphic communications program recipient of the ICPF CAD table and software. I want to give a shout out to a Dunwoody student, Matt Thomas, who through ICPF landed a student internship about a year ago at Liberty Container. He was hired full-time as a package designer by Liberty Container upon his graduation this past summer. Welcome Professor Pete Rivard and your students. Illinois State University. ISU has also incorporated ICPF's online curriculum into its graphic communication classes. And over a year ago, the program added a CAD table and software for structural design. Welcome to Professor Dan Wilson and your graphic and structural design students.
Hello. Hello.
What up? Lewis Clark State College. Welcome to Professor Brian Kolstad and your students from the beautiful state of Idaho for your third teleconference. The graphic communications program incorporated a CAD table and Ardios Designware into its curricula about a year and a half ago. Fun little fact about this school. The Lewis Clark campus is literally adjacent to the Washington state border. The river boundary for the two states run along the western edge of the campus. I didn't know that. I did, though. Welcome, Lewis Clark State University.
Michigan
Hello.
State University.
Hey.
Great. Michigan State University. And let's hear it from Professor Pascal and the Spartan Packaging students here. We have 3 guests today in our audience. Andrea from University of Florida Packaging, Engineering Department. Michael and Zach from Virginia Tech Packaging. and my boss and mentor, Bob Landel from Landel Packaging Systems. Today, Bob is also one of the competition judges. Millersville University. Hello, Professor Mark Snyder and your students. Millersville University has been an ICPF educational partner for only 3 years, and one of its student design teams qualified for the Best of the Best competition in the university's very first year of instruction of the ICPF CAD table and RDO software. This year, 2 teams have qualified for the Best of the Best competition. The university program has generated graduates in the past 2 years who have been hired by ICPF partners, corporations. Several were hired by Packaging Corporation of America alone. Welcome, Millersville University.
Hello.
North Carolina A&T State University, another ICPF CAD table recipient. Another shout out to the Aggie students teaming up with Purdue students to design packaging for NASA this past fall. Welcome to Professor Mitch Hinke and your students.
1, 2.
Right, here goes. What? There, go ahead, say it.
Thank you. Rutgers University. We have a new director of Rutgers Packaging Engineering Program who is joining us this year for the teleconference. Welcome, Dr. Jha and the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. We look forward to you joining us in more of ICPF's programs this year. Welcome, Rutgers University. University of Florida. Welcome, Professor Bruce Welt. We are pleased to have you back this year. Numerous 2010, 2011, and 2012 Florida graduates have been recruited to corrugated packaging industry through ICPF. Clearly, you are making good use of your CAD table and software ICPF provided you 6 years ago. Welcome, University of Florida.
University of Texas Arlington.
University of Florida, welcome.
Go Gators!
All right.
Thank you.
University of Texas Arlington. UTA is ICPF's most recent educational partner. UTA just introduced a packaging track to its large graphic communications department this year through new structural design software, a CAD table, and corrugated curricula that were provided through ICPF. Welcome, Professor Dolzell, Dr. Howard, and the Mavericks.
Wow.
University of Wisconsin Stout. UW Stout Packaging is a regular participant in ICPF's teleconference and is one of the 4th oldest packaging programs in the country. It's good to have you, Dr. Meisner, and your students with us again this year. Virginia Tech and State University. Hello, Professor Robert Bush, Young Kim, and your packaging students. Several years ago, Virginia Tech was a recipient of an ICPF CAD table, RDO software, and compression and shock testers. Virginia Tech frequently uses ICPF's industry speaker resources for its classes too. Industry speakers and plant tours lead to other opportunities for faculty and students. Contact ICPF to get connected. Welcome, Virginia Tech and State University.
Yeah! Hello!
Now the introductions are over, and I wish to tell you more about how you can benefit from ICPF resources and issue a special invitation and challenge to the students here today.
My name is Bob Landel. I'm the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Landel Packaging Systems. I was introduced to ICPF and its goals and missions in 2008 when my uncle Tom Landel, was inducted into the Circle of Distinguished Leaders, and really got to spend some time with Richard Flaherty and talking about the goals and missions of the organization, what it was trying to do, and helping students find careers in the corrugated industry. I attended the Fiberbox independent sheet plant meeting in 2011. Was having some good conversations with some counterparts about their success in hiring students out of college and placing them into sales roles. And that really got me thinking about the succession planning for our sales organization, and decided that I would definitely give ICPF a try. And so off on a little journey we went. In March of 2011, I reached out to Richard Flaherty from ICPF and let him know exactly what we were looking to accomplish, and that we were looking to hire some young talent that could bring some energy and excitement to our organization. And away he went through his recruitment process, and after a few weeks he came back with several resumes, and one of those resumes was of Ann Recke, who is now a corporate sales representative here at Landel Packaging Systems.
Hello, I'm Ann Recke, and I graduated from Michigan State University in the spring of 2011 with a bachelor's degree in communication and a specialization in public relations. Through ICPF's career portal and social network, I was assisted with finding a job with Landel Packaging Systems. Before I worked with Landel, ICPF helped recruit me to find jobs at 3 different packaging companies. I decided to go locally with Landel Packaging System. I went through an extensive training program, and I now serve as a corporate sales representative. I didn't study corrugated or packaging displays in college, but I always knew I wanted to go into sales. I find that corrugated and packaging displays leads to innovation and creativity, which led me to this career. Everyone should visit www.careersincorrugated.org and take advantage of ICPF's pairing of job listings and student resumes. For more personalized updates and active networking, you can request to join ICPF's LinkedIn account by emailing info@icpfbox.org. It was this ICPF social network that initially alerted me to the special opportunities in the corrugated packaging and display industry. I want to issue an invitation and challenge to students in graphic design, packaging, sales and marketing, business, supply chain management, or related fields to consider a career in the corrugated packaging and display industry.
I encourage all of you to utilize ICPF when looking for entry-level sales representatives or interns. It's been a very positive experience for our organization, and again, would like to encourage you all to visit their website at www.careersincorrugated.org.
Hello, I'm Brett Kirkpatrick, Chief Operating Officer at Bay City's Packaging and Display located in Southern California. We'll now go to our panel speakers. The PowerPoints utilized by the speakers will be available next week by emailing info@icpfbox.org. After the panel completes its presentation, we will then go to you, the college and university students out there, for your questions. I ask that during the panel session, faculty collaborate with your students to develop a question and a backup question in case that question's already been asked first. Please write them down, and students be immediately ready with your single question, and identify the single person from the industry panel that you wish to answer the question. Our co-masters of ceremony, Ann and Jennifer, who have recently joined our industry upon graduation, also will be participating in answering questions. The responses will need to be brief and concise, and to make sure that we get to all campuses. So speakers, please keep your responses brief and to the point. Thank you. After your questions, we'll hold ICPF's 12th Best of the Best Student Design Presentation Competition. The first and second place winners in the AICC 2012 Student Design Corrugated Competition will compete for top cash prizes today. We also will tell you how to enter the 2013 AICC Student Design Competition, so stay tuned. So why is the corrugated industry thrived for more than 100 years as other industries have slipped into oblivion? Corrugated is an agile, sustainable product, and it does a whole lot more than simply protect and ship product. It offers tremendous creative capabilities in meeting customers' packaging and display needs while minimizing impact on the environment. A graphic example of this is the hotly competitive retail market in which Corrugated has excelled in grabbing consumers' attention and selling product. Coca-Cola told the Wall Street Journal that consumers respond more to the package than they do to the brand, and that's power, and that's Corrugated in today's marketplace. Whether you are a packaging, graphic, communications, business, supply chain, or marketing and sales student, you should know that careers in corrugated packaging and display are exciting, challenging, and rewarding. And it's only corrugated packaging that positively supports the environment. Our panelists will tell you more. So first up is Jay Carmen, president of Stand Fast Packaging that is based outside of Chicago in Addison, Illinois. Jay's family launched Stand Fast Packaging in 1968 and is a high-quality manufacturer of printed corrugated packaging, shipping containers, displays, and specialty items. Stand Fast serves as a prime example of the scores of independently owned manufacturers found in the corrugated packaging and display industry. Mr. Carmen will provide an overview of the business of corrugated packaging and display industry from the independent company perspective. Jay?
Well, thank you, Brett. I hope you're enjoying this weather.
Yes.
Thanks for that introduction. And I'd like to thank Richard for having me here at the Careers in Corrugated Teleconference. I'm here to give the independent perspective. So I'd like to start out by talking about our company. Stand Fast was founded in 1968 by my father, John Carmen Sr., and his partner, John Morris. They had worked as sales managers at International Paper and Georgia Pacific. And after a period of time, they realized there's an opportunity in the market to offer some products and services that the companies they were working at the time weren't really well suited to provide. So they got the entrepreneurial bug and decided to go out on their own. They ended up scrounging up $50 and got a bandsaw, and they put it in John Morris's basement, and they would cut pads and sell them to customers locally, and they gradually outgrew the basement and leased space in Addison. And I think our current facility is like 90,000 square feet, and it's probably the fourth plant, I think. So they developed a nice business. My dad was very passionate. He talked about the business all the time, and he wanted to pass it on. There's 6 kids, 5 boys, and 1 daughter he had. So he figured some of us would go into business. I was the first one in. He asked me in 1985, one of the requirements, he did want us to work outside the business. He wanted to get experience outside, so I worked for an ocean freight carrier for about 3 years. And then I joined Stand Fast as a sales rep in 1985. And then when I started, we were $3 million in sales. And now, just last year, we were just a little bit over $30 million. So there was a lot that went into that growth. It was quite a journey, as they say, but that would take up way more time than we're allowed today to go into that. But the point I wanted to make about that is I think that hopefully you glean that there's a lot of opportunity in this business. So, it was stated earlier, there's 2 types of structures. There's independents, which are basically like Stand Fast, family-owned, closely held companies. Most of them are individual plants, but there's several that are multi-plant that have corrugator and converting capability. And and you know, also some of them own a mill and are fully integrated. And then integrateds are basically large, multi-plant, cover most of the country, if not all of it, handle national accounts, and then large local customers. And most of them are publicly traded, but some are privately held, which Brian will get into next. We like to think that corrugated's a fun business. I know sometimes it's fun, but it's also very interesting because of the variety of customers and companies that you deal with. We deal with industrial applications and retail, and you never know, you get a chance, an opportunity to deal with different companies. And along with that, there are because there's several industries that we could sell to, so that helps. The advantage there is you're able to diversify and not be dependent on one, one industry. Like if the auto industry is down, you can deal with food and beverage. But even inside food and beverage, we found that like right now, because the economy isn't so well, you could go into private label, that area, and private label. Retailers are, trying to upgrade their brand image, and I think it's taken a little bit of market share in the national brands. Maybe they could argue, but as the economy gets better, maybe the national brands will pick up and take some market share away from private label. So, mostly in the independent arena, being smaller companies, you definitely have an impact. I guess that could be a double-edged sword. If you do a very good job, you're well recognized, you become very, a very important cog, and you have a huge impact. Of course, it works on the other hand. If you don't do so well, that's noticeable too, but I think with the audience here, and I don't think you have to worry about that too much. And then corrugated, as stated, is one of the original green industries. I believe there's 49% more forests now than there was 50 or 100 years ago, so the forest management is excellent. And also, I believe it's 80 to 90% of corrugated is recovered, so the recyclability is tremendous. This slide is very important to Standfast, and from my conversations in the industry association and colleagues here, we really try to empower. That's a big thing at our company. We want to empower employees, give them a lot of ownership and autonomy to make decisions at the task level. The executive leadership team, we talk a lot about leadership as opposed to management, where management's like top-down, autocratic, this is how you do it. The leadership is about setting the direction and giving the resources and doing the coaching and mentoring that's required to make the departments or business areas successful. We also want to promote from within. We want our people to develop their skill levels in different areas. I want them to be cross-trained, also develop leadership skills, and we really want them to reach, we want you to reach your full potential. And that is, if we have an employee that reaches their full potential, then that helps the company, and it's a win-win. And of course, a common theme, we encourage creativity. Excuse me for a sec. That's how you differentiate yourself. So now I'd like to talk a little bit about sales. You get a chance to pitch your ideas. I think the sales environment has changed from the past when I first started to, if you're a manufacturer, you want to push what you sell, what you produce, and try to convince customers to buy, what you're selling, whether you're a manufacturer product or distributing it or whatever. We've really tried to be solutions focused. We tried, listening is a skill we look for in salespeople. We want them to try to find the customer's pain points and where they can solve problems, whether it's inventory management or better graphics design and so on. So that's something that we're looking for. Of course, it's very, in this day and age, it's a very fast-paced environment. We have to respond quickly to customer needs in design and customer service and production. Again, I kind of stated that you get to work in a lot of different industries, and it's a very competitive industry, and we try, as independents, we try to make it fun, make it a family atmosphere, very flexible, approachable, and you spend a lot of time at work, 8, 10, 12 hours a day, so you want to enjoy what you do, because life's short, and it is very rewarding when you get a concept that's basically just an idea, and then you design it, create it, and then it goes into production, and you ultimately end up with a satisfied customer. It's very gratifying. So I'd like to talk a little bit. These are just some of the target markets that we hit. So I have some examples that, in the interest of time, I'll just go through real quick. We just have some packages for the various industries that we serve. Just give you a little flavor of some of the packaging. And then there's different types, kind of segments. The first one I'll talk about is our point of purchase displays are, I'm sure some of you, if not all of you, are aware, are very project orientated. They take a lot of, they're very design intensive, and there are multiple components involved, even multiple materials. And maybe they run once or twice a year, sometimes more, but generally that's the case, and a lot of times they don't repeat. So it's good business when you get it, but it's not always steady. So that's why it's nice to have a mix. Like we have a mix with retail packaging, and shelf-ready packaging is becoming very prominent with good graphics on the retail shelf, which provides a sales lift, and also in some cases there's labor savings. So there's a lot of advantage to shelf-ready packaging. And then, of course, the old standby protective industrial packaging. That's been heavily hit in the last 10 or 12 years. We lost a lot of business in the late 90s because manufacturers were going offshore, but it looks like there's a little bit of a renaissance with manufacturing coming back, so we're seeing more industrial applications. And then here's just some more examples of counter and floor, and there's some retail packaging. And and then there's another key area in design that's very that we're finding success in is not only is structural design important and been part of Corrugated forever. The graphic, when you can have designers who understand the production process and the machine capability, that's a huge advantage. So you kind of want to marry the structural and the graphic design. And a lot of graphic designers design to litho, which isn't always conducive to a lot of the converting equipment, whether it's an integrated or an independent. And so there's a lot of things you can do with 1, 2, and 3 colors with screen printing, and you can really make some eye-catching graphics that provide a good sales lift in the retail space. And then, of course, the common theme, the creativity does create value, and that's what we're looking for with you guys. I know you guys are working hard on that. And So just in general, the demand for corrugated seems to be going up. It is green, as I stated earlier, and which we talk a lot about. Very proud of the recyclability and the greenness of corrugated, and that's helping increase demand, eliminate some materials like plastic. And, you know, most industries require packaging, so that's good. It's a basic needed product. And, you know, that's a good thing. As Brett said, you know, it's an industry that survived for a long time, and because of its versatility and the things you could do with it, you know, hope it keeps going. So it's good. And it's also very, when you're talking about displays or retail-ready packaging, it is a very cost-effective way to advertise your product. You know, if you're advertising on TV or radio, it's very expensive, but I think sometimes retailers don't appreciate the cost-effectiveness of corrugated packaging. And to add, you know, just to add some graphics can really add a lot to their bottom line. So, and it's very, you know, it's eco-friendly and modern. And production-wise, it's, you know, since I've been working in the plants, you know, since I was in high school and college, and you know, my first job was baling scrap into a baler, and you know, I remember that day vividly. It was about 90 degrees, so I got a real appreciation for how hard people work in the plant, and also helped motivate me to graduate college, so that was good. But the equipment has just come so far. It's so labor intensive. You know, I used to count cartons off the Flexo, and now everything's automated. You have pre-feeders, you know, load formers, robots. So, and then there's a lot of software involved. Servo-driven technology is really enhancing the quality of printing, and the production speeds are incredible. And so there's just a lot of technology that goes into it. The machinery keeps evolving and getting better, and the quality keeps, you know, the quality demands, you know, that's never going to ease off. So you just have to stay ahead of the curve and keep the printing. You know, you have to have tight registration and keep them. It's a huge capital investment, so it takes a lot to meet the delivery requirements and the deadlines and the quality standards. And so that pretty much concludes my presentation. I would just like to thank Richard again for having me here, and I want to thank ICPF for all they do to promote the corrugated industry. I'd like to thank Michigan State for hosting this event. They've been very hospitable, so that's great. And so, you know, we just really hope you consider corrugated as a career. We're looking for young, dynamic, talented people, and we could really use some new blood, some fresh ideas. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Jay, for that very informative presentation. That was awesome. Our next speaker is Brian Walker. Brian is Manager of Technical Services and Product Design for Green Bay Packaging. Established in 1933, Green Bay Packaging has 30 locations in the U.S. and Mexico that include mills, corrugating facilities, container plants, coated products, and folding carton operations. Green Bay's Corrugated division manufactures high-quality products used for a wide variety of retail packaging. Since it's family-owned, Green Bay Packaging serves as a unique example of integrated firms found within the industry. Brian currently works in Fremont, Ohio, at the Green Bay Packaging converting plant, where he manages structural and graphic design, technical services, material testing, and the ISTA testing and product testing lab. Brian?
Thank you. Thank you. Very happy to be here today. Again, thank you to Michigan State University for hosting this with a great facility. Thank you to ICPF for putting this on and the big picture, and also thank you to my company, Green Bay Packaging, for allowing me to come here and speak to you students today. What I'm going to talk about today is a vertically integrated company. Jay spoke about an independent and the customer focus they have. Mine is a little bit different. We are a integrated company, which basically means we manage from the beginning to the end. So I'm going to talk about vertically integrated and how it fits in the industry. I'm going to specifically talk about Green Bay Packaging, our locations, and the services that we have, and also how that impacts us as an integrated company through collaboration at all levels within our company. And then I'm going to speak about the industry, educational opportunities, like you're getting here at the colleges, and also about training and participation in events like ICPF. And then we'll sum it up and talk about the career opportunities. A vertically integrated company like Green Bay Packaging has basically multiple companies within our supply chain. So we have one owner and it all fits. We manage everything from the land and the forestry, growing trees, harvesting trees, and then we also process the wood products, and then we have a paper mill. So a variety of products come out of managing the land and the forest. We also have coated label products and folding carton, but today we're going to focus on corrugated containers specifically and the operations that we have for that. And then we'll also discuss the importance of, in our industry, as Jay mentioned, recycling, how important it is for us to manage the waste stream and then recover our resources and reuse them at the paper mill level. Green Bay Packaging is privately held. It's a third generation now running the business. It was founded by George Kress in 1926. We began by producing wooden crates for the cheese industry in Wisconsin, and then began producing corrugated boxes in 1933. So it was a progression, and we became fully integrated as a manufacturer in 1949. So heritage for our company is very important. We build quality into the process at all levels. And the company stresses through collaboration and within, all reaches, innovation. So each employee is given the opportunity, as Jay mentioned, to bring something to the table every day. And then sustainability is a very good, well-used buzzword nowadays, but the packaging industry and paper are just perfect examples of how sustainability can work. So we'll talk a little bit about that more as well. We have timberlands, a lumber mill, 2 paper mills. Our paper mills are located in Arkansas and Green Bay, Wisconsin. We also have 14 converting plants, box plants, and then 2 distribution centers. You'll see that in a map coming up. Our total sales are in excess of $1 billion, and we've got about 3,000 employees. And we have a firm commitment through management of the land all the way through recyclability and recovery to sustainability. So we live it. This is an example of our operations. You can see primarily through the Midwest. We do have an East Coast operation in Baltimore and a West Coast operation and also in Mexico City. So vertically integrated, relatively small company as it stands in the industry, but mighty. This graphic will show you the progression of our industry over about the last 8 years. And you can see there were many companies, and now in 2012 there are fewer companies, and that's through consolidation. And that's just about in every industry. But in the packaging industry, it's evident through the types of companies that are growing their business, like Jay's, and also like Brett's and Landau, through innovation. And that's the key for us, is that we want to make sure we're innovating for our customers. As Jay mentioned, regardless of the track you're on for your education, there are a multitude of opportunities. This is one of the great things about the job I do, being a technical and design and management guy, is we deal with just about every industry, and it is different every day. Aerospace, appliance, and automotive are highly technical. very precise industries. The clothing industry as well, high fast-paced, very up-to-date. Electronics, the food industry, as we all know, is every day when the economy is up and when the economy is down, people have to eat. So it's an important segment of our business, as is building products, medical, consumer and retail packaging, and also dangerous goods. We get involved with customers that produce hazardous materials, and we help them identify, properly ship them so that when you and I are driving down the road and the semi's rolling down with a hazardous material, it's protected and we're safe. So we do that both domestically and, as Jay mentioned, you know, the world seems to be getting smaller. We're bringing products in and shipping products out all over the world. So we also have to have a firm understanding of what's going on internationally. The important point here is there's a lot of diversity. We're all consumers, whether you're going out to the store and purchasing your products or shopping online, as many of us do. There's a wide diversity. So packaging is an important part of every segment. An important message I want to tell you today is really why you're here, why you're sitting here, and why you're in the audience at the different colleges is the power of collaboration. As an integrated company, it's a great asset for us. You know, it's a key thing for us to be able to work and be able to reach within all the different levels of our company to connect. So when we have a challenge at our customer level, we can push it all the way back to how we're going to harvest this resource, and then ultimately at the end how we're going to recover the resource. So it's a strength that Green Bay Packaging recognizes. We use it as a way to serve our customers, and that's really what we're doing here today, is collaborating. Industry education, training, and participation. You know, every day each of us go to work and we have our jobs and we take care of our business, but the packaging industry, I can speak about, is a responsible company gets involved with things. We train our employees. We have interest in them long term. It's important that we interact with the industry, not only from the business side, but also the regulatory side. We help by giving back through education, internships and co-op and so on. But the important point of that is participation and getting involved with, you know, groups like ICPF and many other industry associations that help train us and keep us on track for where we want to be. And again, some of the career choices Jay mentioned, and I'll go into them a little bit further, but for us, forestry is managing our resources and also the raw materials. That's ultimately what you're looking at. Regardless of what industry you end up in, you're going to have to deal with raw materials, and getting to know those raw materials and getting to understand the aspects of them and the benefits and the strengths you can get out of them to take advantage of those points for your company and for your customers. And then also being responsible for the environment. I think anyone who looks at the packaging industry and specifically paper will see that there's very few industries out there that have that, you know, beginning to end cycle that we have. In fact, a lot of those industries are looking at paper. It's a commodity out there. It's a very important one. A lot of other industries are looking at the things we do, life cycle analysis and so on, and modeling themselves after what we do. And if you're taking an engineering track, it's a perfect example of where you can get involved as a chemist or an engineer and get right down into the basics of how the materials work, how we can optimize them and make them work in a very competitive situation, and continuous improvement. And marketing and research is another area. You know, the folks that look at strategies and branding and colors, they really provide us with some of the basis with which we pursue our business. And, you know, our customers are doing the same thing, and more importantly, our competition is doing the same thing. So it's very important that we're mindful of the marketing and the direction that we're going. Customer service is another area. Direct customer contact is very key, processing those orders. You know, Jay mentioned how every order seems to be very rush and very hot, And being a technical and design guy, we want more time for more creativity. And that's one of the challenges we face is if you're going to market, you have a timeline, you need to meet that timeline and be creative. So it takes a lot of effort and it takes a lot of preparation to do that. Design, both structural and graphics, is my background. It's very rewarding. Again, we see a variety of products come through every day, and it keeps it interesting, whether it's a food product or an electronic product or something for the medical industry. It keeps my interest because we are able to look at, find out what the customer need is, and then develop a creative solution. And generally, it's more than one solution for them to look at so that they can have input and feedback. Sales is also, they're the drivers in our industry. They're also the face of the company typically. They're getting out there to the customer. The good salespeople understand the process, understand the business, and they find out what the customer need is. It's a very challenging, time-consuming area. The sales force does not generally get the credit that they deserve for all the time that they do put in, but it's an important way of pushing our products and our ideas out on the customer so that they can see what our capabilities are. And then production, Jay mentioned getting out and seeing the things in the plant. It's absolutely true that the folks that we have in our production department are committed. They want to work, they want to run. When business ups and downs go, I guarantee you that the folks in all of our plants would rather be very busy and know that their jobs are secure, taking care of the customer, than in slow times. So we do experience highs and lows. That's why the diversity that we have within the packaging industry helps us out. And then, of course, management, setting the direction forward for our company. Jay comes from a family-owned business. Obviously, they have vision. They've looked long-term, and they're passionate, as he mentioned. And just taking a moment and speaking with Jay, you can say that that passion is carrying through. Innovation we talked about, that's what you see on the shelf when you're walking out in the aisle and the color sticks out to you, or you're looking for a particular product, or in my case, when I'm shopping, I always end up buying 2 or 3 more things more than I really wanted to on my list. But part of that is innovation and the impact we get through packaging. Developing the products, being a leader in the industry, finding a niche for your customers that goes beyond just, here's my product, What are the selling points? What are the assets? What are the benefits of it? And that's really rewarding, whether you're involved with the production side of it, the design side of it, the sales side of it, the customer service side of it. Each product and each process that comes through, either annually or seasonally, it's a lot of reward. So, to wrap it up, each one of you students are here listening, and the faculty as well. We need to set our values really high, and most of the companies here have a unique culture that they deal with, and it has to do with the markets they're in. So, we talk about where you're going to live, where you're going to be after college. Take a good hard look at that. Using the resources you have and the connections you're building here in college right now, getting involved with the professionals that are out there giving back to the industry, doing an internship or a co-op, getting out and visiting some of the customers and producers out there through organizations that help support that is a real key for you. And these are the connections that you have a lifetime. The ICPF provides a great opportunity for you. Get your facts in order, get your vision for where you want to be, get on the portal, take a look at what's out there. One of the great points of this business is you get involved with many different areas. So do that and you'll be successful. So thank you for your attention.
All right, thank you, Brian. Great job. Very informative and from the heart. I like that. So now we'll hear questions from our students out there. And please remember, is one question per campus. And speakers, keep your answers concise. So let's go, straight to Appalachian State. Do you have a question prepared for our panel?
Yeah, this one's for Brian Walker. What areas of the packaging and display industry has seen the most growth over the last year?
Brian, could you hear that?
So it was What areas of display packaging experienced the most growth over the last year?
Yeah, I've seen the most growth.
Yeah. I would have to say in the food industry and produce, my company has focused on that, and I think our industry as a whole has. Part of the reason is the competitive challenges from plastics and RPCs. Most companies recognize that corrugated is a very viable solution. It's also in the produce and food industry, there are some real technical challenges to overcome with moisture, humidity, the rigors of transportation, shelf life, and so on. So I would have to say it's probably food type packaging. Of course, there are other areas too. Hazardous material would be another area because the rules are changing, and we're trying to make sure we're protecting our environment and protecting individuals. So I'd have to say food packaging.
Great. Thanks, Brian. And thanks, Appalachian. Let's go to Bowling Green. Come in, Bowling Green.
Hi, this is to Jay Carmen.
Yes.
Go ahead. Your website states that your packaging is 100% recyclable and uses only SFI certified products. What other sustainability initiatives does Standfast Packaging have in place regarding business practices or facilities?
We try to, bale all our scrap, so that, but I guess that doesn't include your question, but we try to, we have improved our lighting in our plant. We have the LED lights that are motion censored. We try to, right now we're trying to, there's a huge investment with that, so there's things that we're working on right now, but we probably honestly could do more, but the big thing is lights and try to conserve power as much as we can. That's probably the biggest area where we could benefit from.
Okay, great. Let's go down to Cal Poly. Cal Poly, did the students show up, Dr. Sahab?
Yeah, 2 showed up, Brett.
2?
Yeah, that's a big increase. So we have a question Francesca's going to ask.
This question is for Brian. Has Green Bay Packaging looked into using a mineral-based coating for frozen food applications that do not affect the recycling stream?
We talked about recycling and some of the challenges we have against the petroleum-based products, and we've actually looked at almost every aspect of it on the chemical side, on the manufacturing side, on the process side, and also on the recovery side. Having, again, my commentary was about being integrated. We have the entire breadth of the company looking at those kind of things. And it's great because we have to not only create the resource and create the raw material, we have to follow it all the way through the process and then ultimately recover it. So we are looking at many different avenues, and that's one we've looked at. We've also looked at, as Jay just mentioned about energy recovery, is going out to our customers and talking to them about the energy they put into cooling their product and preserving their product and how the shelf life works. So not just the chemical side, but also the entire process is what we've looked at.
Okay, great.
Good question.
Good answer. Thank you. All right, let's go to Clemson. Clemson, come in. What's your question for our panelists?
Hi, my name is William Lee, and I'm a senior here in a packaging major. And my question is, what is the current status and the cessation between the Molenberg and Edge crush test?
Brian, that sounds like it's right up your alley.
That's a technical question. I'll take that one. One of the beauties of the packaging industry is that paper comes in very large rolls for us to produce our end product, the corrugated box. If you look at a large roll of paper and you roll out the sheet, you can all imagine in your mind, it kind of looks like clothing. And in fact, as our industry and the paper industry developed, we looked at the clothing industry, which has been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, longer than the paper industry, and we used one of their tests, and that is that burst test. One of the standards for a clothing material or cloth was a puncture test, and that's what we used, and that's one of the original areas for packaging and for paper specifically, and that's the Mullen test that you're referring to. Fast forward 80 plus years, and we're looking at the finished box now, and what standard can we use to measure the box, and pulling a section out of the box, measuring the edge crush value of that per lineal inch is what we use now. So that's the difference, and I had to do that in under a minute. So thank you.
That was good. Could have wrote a little novel on that topic. Let's go to Dunwoody College of Technology. Dunwoody?
Hey, can you hear me?
We hear you loud and clear.
All right. My name is David. I'm a first-year pre-media student. And we're wondering, aside from Minnesota, where are the good package design jobs located?
Everywhere.
I can answer that one on the ICPF portal.
Yeah, truly there are opportunities all around. That's one thing, obviously, with our industry being a localized product and it's shipped locally. There are job opportunities literally in almost every state in multiple areas. So depending where you want to locate to, you can focus in on the top performers, manufacturers, designers in those areas and get in there, especially if you're an A player. Okay, Illinois State University.
This question could be for either Jay or Brian. Being that you serve various industry segments, do you build cross-functional teams around those industries, or are the employees segmented to the various industries?
That's a great question. We struggle with that all the time. Ideally, you'd like to separate graphic customers and industrial or salespeople to handle retail, consumer customers, or salesperson to deal with industrial. But it's so intermingled now that we have salespeople that our salespeople can do both. So, but it is a challenge to structure that because there's a different mindset when you run Brown, regular RSCs. They're high speed. It's a different mentality than kind of the craftsman mentality that you have when you're trying to run 3, 4, 5 colors. So we kind of struggle with that. But I don't know if I really have a good answer for you, but it's something that we have to be aware of and we're working on.
Great. Thanks, Illinois. All right, let's go to Lewis Clark State College. Next on the queue.
Hi, this is Sam Coulter and the students from the Lewis and Clark State Graphic Design Program. And our question is directed toward really anybody on the panel. If a student was interested in the creative side of packaging but didn't want to get stuck behind a computer all day, would there be opportunities in the corrugated packaging industry?
Sure. Richard?
What is so nice about this industry is that there's room for different roles for people with structural design, graphic design. They can go into sales. We have a number of different structural designers and graphic designers that they can really integrate the personnel within a company to meet the customer's demands. So you can go into sales, you can go into the business aspects. We even have a number of graphic design that graduates that have structural design in their programs that are actually managing the factory floor. So you see management opportunities, so you don't have to be just a structural designer. In fact, I think a lot of the growth that we see among the students that are graduating and going into structural design is that ultimately they go into some sort of management of the business or into sales, and a large percentage, of course, go up to senior designers, but there's a lot more room than than just staying in front of the computer day to day. And even if you go into the structural design and are there on a permanent basis, it's not just staying in front of the computer. It's interacting with the others, with the salespeople, with the management to make sure that you're developing a product that meets the needs of the customer. Hope that's helpful.
Thanks, Richard. Appreciate that. Okay, let's look at our live audience here. Michigan State University, everybody will wake up. And I know we've got probably just a great question here from our local live audience. Who wants to take a stab at it? Don't everybody jump at once.
One of the largest packaging schools, we're bound to have a question.
Yes, in the back.
Besides excelling besides doing well in classes, what would you recommend to differentiate yourself to stand out and be a great candidate for jobs?
Yeah, I mean, at Bay Cities, what we're looking for is really behavior, attitude. I can train on all the skill sets that are required for our industry and for our business 100%. So we're looking for really someone that is a mover, a shaker, that A player, that loyalty, that commitment, somebody that wants to come in, make a difference, be different, and that's really what we're looking for. You guys want to chime in on that too, Brian?
I can.
Ann?
I knew absolutely nothing about this industry. I had a lot of interviews with other companies and different avenues before I landed this job. But for me personally, I'm a communicator, I'm proactive, and I know how to get things done and problem solve. So I think that really was something that my company was looking for because, again, they were able to teach me what I needed to know. I had a year-long training program. I know my first time I had to do a request for quote, for the tab section, I wrote yes. The designer said, no, do you want it glued, stitched, or taped? I said, okay, let me work on this. So you get to that point where you start to know everything, but who are you as a person and can you help that company? That's what they want to see.
Great. Thank you for that question. All right, let's go to Millersville University and Thaddeus Stevens, College of Technology. Come in.
Okay, this question is for Jay. Your firm is a little smaller in size. How long is the typical turnaround time, on average, from meeting the client to providing them with the final product?
Well, another good question. It all depends on the complication of the project. If it's an RSC, a regular round carton, you can turn that around same day and almost deliver it next day. But when you get into the display or retail environment, sometimes you need to turn around a concept, get a design, get it pre-pressed, and same day. But the normal time is, you need at least a couple days for turnaround. Then there's an approval process, and then a lot of times what happens is we really have to push the approval process and make our customers and educate them that we need to have certain things done by a certain time so that we can order tooling, get the artwork approved, and so on. So it's always a challenge to deal with the customer and trying to get them to meet their deadlines. And but it's typically we'd like 2 weeks on a new project would be ideal.
Yes, that would be ideal, wouldn't it? All right, thank you. Okay, let's go to North Carolina, A&T. North Carolina.
Hello, my name is Yasmin, and my question for the panel is, what is the difficulty level relating to design and manufacturing when using recycled material?
Brian, that's another one I think you'd be great at.
Well, I guess I would answer that like this. As consumers, there's the retail environment that is demanding this. So we've chosen as a company, as an integrated, to have a paper mill that's 100% recycle, and there have been manufacturing challenges with that. You can imagine a fiber coming from a tree being of given length, and you process it, and then you recycle it and process it a second time, and it's going to be smaller. And those are challenges that we have during the manufacturing process that we have to account through tooling, through the type of time that we have from the end of the production process on to the next step. And we've done that very well. We've also engaged our vendors to come in and help us analyze and look at the tooling requirements, the converting requirements, the moisture. We go back to the paper mill and talk to them about the moisture content. So there are certainly challenges in the production side and then on the retail side as well. So we look at every aspect of that, but it's been good. I guess my answer is it has been good. We've had good processing and good results with recycled products.
Good. Thanks, Brian. And thanks, North Carolina. All right, let's go to Rutgers. Rutgers University, come in.
Hello there. My question is for the gentleman from Green Bay Packaging. You mentioned that your company is fully integrated throughout the supply chain. I was wondering why recycling was excluded from the breadth of your business portfolio. If you happen to have the recycling portion, has there been any innovations or efficiency improvements in recycling as a direct result from your expertise in all the previous areas leading up to it?
That's a good follow-up question to the one earlier, and I would say absolutely. Within the paper mill, those machines have been around for many, many, many years, and they're large. They're as big as buildings. And so finding those areas for innovation has been a challenge, but again, being able to work with the folks that are recycling, the folks that are growing the trees and the raw material, we look at it and find those opportunities, and then we really push them out. We really try and pursue them to the point where we see those efficiencies. Part of them is extended nip presses, which you'll hear as a term in our industry. And it takes that shorter fiber that we were just talking about, and it compacts it and compresses it. And so it gives it a little bit better ability than the old-fashioned machines. And also the orientation of the angle with which the fibers push out. You believe it or not, that happens at such high speed, but we can change speed of the machine at certain points to help orient those things. And then ultimately at the converting side, our operators really prefer to use some of those recycled products because they're more pliable and they can find the way to produce them at the best possible way. So a lot of innovation at the raw material, through processing, and ultimately into the converting area.
That's right, because happiness is a quality box. Let's go to University of Florida. Come in for your question for the panel. University of Florida.
Our question was kind of similar to the last one for Brian. It was, do you think being a fully integrated company helps you stay greener, or at least more aware of your company's environmental impact, since you follow the product through the whole, from the beginning? And what ways do you challenge yourself to stay sustainable?
Well, I don't know if it helps us be greener, because I think companies like Jay's and Brett's and Bob's also are forced with that. I say forced, that's not the right word, but we're challenged with that because the consumers want it. And ultimately, we know it's the right thing to do. So for us as an integrated, it just seems like it may be easier, because on the end where we're actually shipping the product out to the door to our customer, we can push that knowledge and that concern all the way back to the folks that are doing it at the paper mill side. So there may be some advantages there, but our industry really does a good job bringing technical folks together to share best practices, and also, because we're in this together, and that's kind of what I was trying to talk about with our industry, is we're in it together. So does it give us an advantage? Perhaps in the company structure it may, but I think our industry is fairly well involved, and that's evident by the folks that are here. We're all attentive to it, and we do like to help each other out.
Great. Thanks, Brian. And thanks, University of Florida. Let's go to University of Texas, Arlington.
Hi, this question is for Brian Walker. What is an average salary for an entry-level recent graduate if they were to get hired in the packaging design industry?
We have 14 converting plants, and I'll speak to it to answer your question as best I can. Within each one of our markets, the East Coast, down south, and up north, those markets are going to have different cost of living standards, so it's a difficult thing to answer. However, I will tell you this, as a co-op, we bring them in at $10 an hour. Some companies don't pay. If they do a second co-op, we bump that up to $12 an hour. And that's in the Ohio market. If you look to the east, it might be a little bit higher than that. If you look down south, it might be a little bit lower than that. So as part of your decision-making process as students, you know, where are you going to be? What do you want to do? Look at that average salary, look at how it is geographically, and then make your decision. You know, you're at the entry level. Sometimes experience is a compensation that's more important than the actual wage. So I'm not sure if I answered that as best as possible, but Richard, do you want to chime in here?
Brian handled that very well. I just wanted to add that regionally it does vary. And so as you go to different markets, we're seeing anywhere from structural designers that are going into the industry in some of the southern areas where the cost of living might be less, starting in the $30,000 to $40,000 range. And then we see in some of the higher end markets possibly $60,000 a year. But it varies because as you go to a company, you have to look at not only what you initially make, but what your future may be in growing within that company. So we encourage you very much to not just look at salary amounts, but to look at the opportunity for your career. Thank you.
Good, thanks, Richard. An example of that would be at Bay Cities. If you were to come out west and get a job in LA working at Bay Cities, you'd become an owner of the company since we're an ESOP. So that's a value that, hey, I'm working in a job where I have a vested interest in the success and further of this business. So it's every unique situation lends itself to be different. Let's go to University of Wisconsin. University of Wisconsin, come in. Hello.
I have a question. Do you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. My question is, if the Green Bay packaging, if they use 100% material out of their own, produce raw materials like the wood and.
Brian?
Yes. Let me state that a little bit further. Within our industry, we have trade partners. So we have land management and forestry, and we also have 100% recovery at one of our paper mills. So we're not cutting down trees, we're recovering that fiber from OCC and the different waste streams that are out there available to us. So within our capacity at the two paper mills, we're a net producer. And what that means is within all of our converting plants and within all of our customers, we can consume all of our paper. And then we also have additional capacity that we trade with on the outside. Each paper mill is typically unique in what it's really good at. It doesn't mean that that's necessarily what they're going to run, because paper is a commodity. Take a look at the commodity market. If you're really interested, there's some very valuable information about how that process works and how commodities apply, not just in paper, but in many, many materials. So we are a net producer. We have great trade partners that we work with, and yes.
Very good. Nice summary. All right, let's go to Virginia Tech, last on our list, but not least. Virginia Tech.
Hi, my name is Joshua Pruitt. I'm a sophomore in the Packaging Systems and Design program here at Virginia Tech. My question is for Mr. Walker. It's you mentioned that a collaborating company extremely benefits because you can trace the product back and figure out where you need to improve things or solve problems. But how does a collaborating company benefit the everyday packaging engineer over a non-collaborating company?
Immensely. And I'll answer that like this. I have a skill set, and I'm pretty familiar with my skill set because I've been doing this for a while. I also have great resources within my company, and I try to get to know those folks as well too, because each one of those have a particular skill set. And so when I get to the end of my knowledge base in solving a problem, I reach out, and we do that very well within our company. And as I mentioned, at all levels. And it's really true. The messages I get, the communications I get, and the communications I give help us solve problems in a very, very quick manner. So when you're making your decisions on what company to go to, I think that's an important factor. You have your skill set, you're building it through your education, you're going to build it through resources and experience out there in the field, but now you need to expand your network and find folks who can maybe get an answer that if you can't get it right now, you can call somebody and get help with that. And ICPF helps with that because they connect all these folks and leads to jobs and leads to you finding out what your skill set is and how you can best use it.
Thanks, Brian. Okay, thank you, Virginia Tech. We've got about 5 minutes left, so we're going to take it from the top, and maybe we can get to a couple questions from the rotation. So how about Appalachian State? Do you have a second question for our panelists?
Yeah, this is for anyone. What are some of the skills you want new employees graduating from university graphic communication degree programs? What kind of the most important skills you would like to see from them? Brian?
You can take that one.
All right. Well, we're looking for, really just, like I said before, the attitude, the behavior, and the skill set. You know, if you have a fundamental background in packaging, CAD software, working with Adobe and Photoshop and some of these art programs, Studio 3D Max, there's some rendering softwares. Those are the skills that will get your learning curve up quicker. But I believe it was Ann that said she went through a year-long training program. That's very typical. So, just coming in with an open mind and being ready to absorb like a sponge what our process is and how we do things would be the best thing. Thank you. All right, how about Bowling Green? Let's go to Bowling Green for round two.
As a future professional in the corrugated packaging industry, I am interested to know what aspects of your career kept you interested in working in the corrugated field. That's for Brian Walker.
For me, it was easy. The variety of things that I would see every day. I'm very fortunate. This kind of goes to an earlier question of, are you going to sit at your computer monitor all day? I've been doing this long enough to tell you that we never sat at a computer monitor, and it's only been in the more recent history that we've had a lot of computer time. But we also have a test lab for packaging, finished products, and also material testing. So none of the folks that I work with sit at the computer, and we all have a great variety, and we collaborate and work with each other. Again, I don't want to use the word collaboration, but we work with each other and use a lot of the experiences from this project to that project, and it makes it very interesting for me.
Great. Thanks, Brian. We've got a couple minutes left, so let's get the last question from Cal Poly. And if there's a question for our moderators, Ann and Jen, that would be great as well. Dr. Saha?
Yes, we do have a question. So Mark is here.
This is actually for Brian, sorry. My question is your research and development department looking into alternative fiber sources other than wood, such as like plant-based fibers? And if yes, like what are those alternative sources?
Yes. You know, there's this thing called intellectual property, so I have to be a little careful here, but I'll tell you something that's very exciting for me is we are looking at many, many different types of raw materials. For me, it's exciting, and I'll give you one example. Nobody in this group is wearing jeans, but almost everybody in that group is wearing jeans. What happens with an old pair of jeans is they go through the thrift shop, if you know that song, I love it. But after that, they go back into the recycling, and we've actually looked at cotton fiber in our process. Now, the paper comes out a little bit blue, so it's really kind of interesting. We've also looked at sawgrass and a variety of different types of trees and wood-structured products. Again, I have to be a little careful here, but it's exciting what we can do on the paper side. And again, We have a large amount of manufacturing, and we have great processing and historical ways of doing things. So bringing in new ideas within our company and from some of you folks out there, hopefully someday, makes it very exciting.
Great, thanks, Brian. And I'd like to thank all the schools today for all those questions. That was really a good challenge for our panelists to answer all of those. And I hope that we did do a good job at answering all those today. So thank you again. All right, I'm going to turn it back over to Jen and Ann at this time for the rest of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett. I want to be sure to say, remember, if you're interested in a job in our industry, be sure to visit the website, ICPF's website, careersincorrugated.org, to search for job openings and place your resume on the career portal, where corrugated packaging firms seek students for student internships and for full-time opportunities. So be sure to do that. It helped Ann and I find jobs. So, okay, now it's time for our student battle for the top cash prize of $1,000. It's a battle among 3 teams, two student teams from Millersville University and 1 student teams from Clemson University. The winning teams will compete in ICPF's 12th annual Best of the Best competition. The student competition, okay, these teams are the second place winners in the Design to an Opportunity category within the AICC Student Corrugated Design Competition. We have asked these students to show, tell, and sell their entry as they might to a prospective customer. Each team is limited to 5 minutes, and our judges will select the first, second, and third place winner. They will judge on design, presentation, content, and presentation skills. Each team will receive a cash prize. The Design to an Opportunity student winners were asked to design a structure and graphics that accomplish a given task while accounting for converting challenges. For this competition, it was a real-world challenge to design and create a retail-ready package, an RRP, for a 6-ounce snack product that does not require a master shipper.
Let's go straight to Millersville University, team of Aaron Sensenig and Nolan Myers. This student team will now show, tell, and sell their graphic and structural design, Pirates Plunder, a Treasure of a Mix.
Hi, I am Aaron Sensenig.
And I am Nolan Myers.
We are 2 of the 4 members from the Pirates Plunder, a Treasure of a Mix team from Millersville University. Caitlin Hansel and Diane Shoemaker, the other 2 members from our team, graduated this past fall.
We created our package for the Association of Independent Corrugated Converters, otherwise known as AICC's, student design competition as part of our packaging course at Millersville. The challenge was simple, to create a retail-ready package that did not require the use of a master shipper.
To accomplish this, we decided to create a smaller size package that's easier to handle and allows for more packages to fit on a 40 by 48 size pallet, as well as reduce the amount of adhesive needed to hold the package together.
We decided to go with an E-flue corrugated material because it's thinner and flexible, yet sturdy enough that it can hold and protect the product during shipping and display.
The structure of our package was cut out using the Gerber Innovations sample maker that was donated to Millersville University by the International Corrugated Packaging Foundation, otherwise known as ICPF. In this following animation, you'll see how the cutout corrugated board is converted into our package.
As you can see from the animation, we utilize locking tabs on the bottom of our package to hold a majority of the package together. Our innovative design was created in ArtistCAD and allowed us to only use 2 strips of glue to hold the front down onto the sides and 3 tabs of tape around the edges to hold the lid down during shipping.
To create the graphics for our package, we imported the die line into Adobe Photoshop. We decided to go with a Pirates theme because of Millersville's mascot, the Millersville Marauder. By bringing this package closer, you can see that we use the gold and the black of Millersville University school colors. We chose a screen color so it would make the package stand out from other products on store shelves. On the back of the package, you can see we create a graphic that shows how to convert the package for display. We also used Adobe Photoshop to combine the images of a treasure chest and trail mix that were taken by a student in our group to make the trail mix look like it's inside the treasure chest. We also continue this theme on the pouch of our product.
To convert the package for display, it only takes a couple easy steps. You just first cut the tape that's normally around the edge of the lid, followed by ripping off the front, and then ripping up the tabs off the side, and bend at the crease, and tuck down inside the package. And now your package is ready for countertop display at your local store.
Thank you for watching our presentation and for considering our package as a winner for the ICPF Best of the Best competition.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Millersville team number 1. Do you think this might be good for their resumes? You bet it is. That's why all of you out there should plan to enter the AICC 2013 competition. Entries are due by June 21st. You can go to the ICPF or AICC websites to learn more about the competition. Each of the schools and students with us today should consider entering.
Now let's go to Clemson University team, consisting of Alex Rigsby, George Alexander, Will Dix, and Nathan Bailey. They will explain why we should buy their graphic and structural design Yummy Noodles. Clemson, are you ready for us?
We are, yeah.
All right, your 5 minutes starts now.
Let us introduce to you a package that you never knew you needed. A package so good, it'll cook your noodle. Now, our job as packaging scientists is to unify package and product in a way that optimizes space and material to conserve resources, all the while enhancing our customers' experience with our product. Now, with regard to our product, we would like to illustrate these aspects in our design and the overall graphics that accentuate them. Specifically, the brand that we developed, the graphics that we did design, and the overall product that is our retail-ready display. First, let's take a look at the overall product design and branding.
Thank you, Alex. To complement our unique product, we wanted a strong brand image, and this grew naturally from our overall design process. We formulated Yummy Noodle and all associated artwork around an Asian theme. First, we created our mascot, Boy with the Bowl. He personified the character of our product. Then we added architecture, which evokes place of origin and tradition. Then we repeated an Asian symbol using it as a texture. And this will, in fact, this symbol represents, or literally translates to delicious noodle. Also, we added comic book graphic style instructions for how to open the box. In our color scheme, we wanted it to be vibrant and attention-grabbing. We chose yellow because it conveys a hunger and an energy, and red because it conveys a passion. And so, because our structural design results in 2 shelving trays, we wanted different graphics for each side, developing into a yin-yang, day and night graphic quality. And finally, we struck a balance between the PDP graphic display and the visibility of pouches in the trays. And this allowed consumers to see the pouches from all angles. And now Will tell you more about our structure.
Thank you, Nathan. When developing our retail-ready package, we decided to take advantage of the pouch's triangular shape by creating a nesting system, wherein 21 pouches were oriented normally, while the other 21 pouches were oriented upside down. Having 2 separate layers allowed us to maximize our usable space, minimize the material used, and also ultimately allowed us to create 2 separate displays from 1 box. Using the 2-in-1 method is beneficial not only in cost, but allows us to ship double the amount of products per load by putting less trucks on the road and reducing our carbon footprint. During transport, their interlocking tabs and slots were designed in order to ensure that everything stacked is in place. However, to ensure that our product or our package would survive shipping, we calculated the theoretical compression strength using the McKee equation. Using this equation, we found that 5 layers of 16-pound cases stacked 2 pallets high with a 50-pound pallet required a minimum compression strength of 150 pounds. In order to support this weight, we needed an ECT of 14, which is far less than Seaflute's average ECT of 42. George?
As you can see, our design incorporates unique structural and graphic elements to create a functional retail-ready display. Our goal is to create a package that minimizes material usage through efficient design. It creates a box that's easy to open and shelve, as well as allows you to create 2 different displays from each case. The unique structural tabs increase the stability of the package during palletization and ensure that it will survive the rigors of the distribution cycle. And the graphics and brand that we developed allow the package and products to stand out in the aisle and catch the consumer's eye. For these reasons, we believe that our design meets or exceeds the criteria of this challenge. And we'd like to thank the ICPF for choosing our design and allowing us to participate in this competition. And we'd also like to thank Clemson University and the Sunoco Institute of Packaging, Design, and Graphics. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Clemson. For our third winning entry, we go back to Millersville University for our third student team consisting of Daniel Sparks, Brian Parrish, and Drew Kramer. They will explain why we should buy their graphic and structural design, Pirates Plunder Dual Purpose Display. Millersville team number 2. Oh my gosh. Millersville? Hi.
Hello.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Are you ready to go?
Yeah.
Do it.
Good afternoon. My name is Brian Parrish. I'm a part of the team here at Millersville University. First off, we would like to thank the ICPF for allowing us the opportunity to participate in the best of the best student competition. I'd like to turn over to my teammate Drew Kramer to introduce our solution.
Hello, my name is Drew Kramer, and we're so excited to introduce to you our solution for the design challenge. We call it Pirates Plunder, the dual purpose display, and the reason why it's called the dual purpose display is because it has 2 distinct functions that maximize the package's potential, and which we thought was to effectively package and display a trail mix snack product. So to talk about the first function of our package, I'm going to hand it over to my teammate Dan.
Hello everyone, my name is Dan. I'm glad to be here today to show you guys the first function of our package, which was designed to be a countertop display or a retail-ready package, which can easily display as trail mix snack product. In order to grab the consumer's eye, we created 3D pop-outs throughout our package. This serves as a good amount of space for advertising, as well as gives our package a sense of depth and contrast. Following our first function, we wanted to give the seller more than they asked for. So to go over the second function of our package, here's Brian.
Like Dan just said, we wanted to give the user more than they wanted. So what we did, we wanted to give them options. We wanted to give them a flexible package that they can control the retail environment with. So what we did was incorporate a tear-out panel on the back of our box that once you rip it out, you can easily place the now shelvable package on a shelf in a grocery store with limited space. All while you have easy access to the product side, and it's easy for the consumer to grab and purchase the goods. But to get to this point, there was a lot of design work that went into this. Drew's going to explain some of the design work.
Thanks, Brian. To create the graphics for this package, we went through a couple different processes, and we wanted to create it around a certain theme and purpose. The first thing that we did was we exported our die line for the structure into a program called Adobe Illustrator, and there we could create rich, effective graphics for our product, for our package. And we created graphics for the 3D pop-outs on the side like Dan showed you, as well as really easy to use an instructional panel that allows the consumer who's buying the package from the supplier to easily transform our package into whatever function they need for their store. So here's Brian to talk about some of the sustainability of our package.
The last issue that we want to tackle was the sustainability. Sustainability is the #1 reason corrugated is such a great material for packaging. So we wanted to take full advantage of that. So what we did was use a rollover design, which gained us several benefits. The first of being is our package uses no glue to hold it together, so that reducing our impact on the environment. The second benefit was the roller design was the ease of collapsing the package for recyclability. The last benefit was the strength. On either side of our package, it's double thick layer of cardboard with vertical flues, which adds to the strength and the stackability of our package during transit. This makes for a strong and sustainable package.
Overall, we feel that we created a very appealing solution to the ICPF Best of the Best Design Challenge. It's very flexible and sustainable, and we're really excited about it. We'd like to say thanks to the ICPF for hosting this teleconference, as well as giving us the opportunity to participate in the Best of the Best Design Challenge, and we hope you consider Pirates Plunder, the dual-purpose display, as your solution. Thank you.
Thank you, Millersville. Great presentations from everyone. I think there could be a career in corrugated packaging and design for each of you. Please remember to visit ICPF's website, www.careersincorrugated.org, to view available jobs that are continuously posted on the career portal. Also contact ICPF by email if you are interested in student internships and joining the Career Network. An internship is a great way to get your foot in the door for a full-time position in the corrugated industry upon graduation.
Now, before we identify the winners of the competition, I want to remind the design students to enter the 2013 AICC Design Competition. The 3 categories are Design to an Opportunity Part 1, Structure Design, Design to an Opportunity Part 2, Graphic Design, and Corrugated as Art. However, ICPF does not include the category Corrugated as Art in this Best of the Best runoff competition. Full competition materials are available through a link to AICC from ICPF's website at www.careersincorrugated.org. Again, the deadline for the design entries is June 21st, 2013. You should know that the top student winners that are competing today won all expense paid trip to the AICC National Convention this past October in Atlanta, Georgia, where they assembled on stage for international recognition and participated in Supercore with ICPF. Those who enter and win this year will be invited to join AICC at its annual meeting in, wait for it, Las Vegas. So you guys should all come out, make sure you enter because it's in Vegas, in case you didn't hear the first time. All expenses paid. The winners will be honored on stage at the general session and are welcome and encouraged to attend all the sessions and networking events held in conjunction with the meeting. The AICC 2013 annual meeting is being held at the Encore Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. All winners will receive a distinctive plaque, and their winning entries will be displayed at AICC's 2013 annual meeting in where? Vegas. We hope that you are participating in this competition that brings you cash prizes, recognition, and exposure to the industry that benefits your future.
Judges, do you have the winners for the 2013 ICPF Best of the Best Student Design Competition?
Yes, we do.
Great. I again want to thank all of you today for competing in the Best of the Best competition. Our 3rd place winner today is Clemson University. And they've won $500. Our 2nd place winner today is Millersville University, team number 1. and they've won $750. And our first place winners today are Millersville team number 2, and they've won $1,000. Congratulations to all the winners.
It looks like our time is up. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you benefit from this, and we hope to see you next year and participate next year in the teleconference.
Goodbye, everyone, and remember to visit www.careersincorrugated.org. Thank you.